Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned in to Esoteric Guidance, and my name is Nehru. I want to come on actually and share something just very briefly with us. I want to share with us the origination place of the word nigger, okay? Or nigger, as it's termed today in slang, okay? Right? N-I-G-G-E-R, okay? If you look the word up, it says a contemptuous word used to describe dark-skinned or black people, okay? So there's a biblical reference to this, okay? All right? So, we now know, it's historically proven, that the origin of the original man is in a brown place. All right? And when I say brown place, I mean a place where the skin was not Caucasian, pale, ecru, what we call white people today. Again, I don't use racial terms like that because no one's white and no one's black. I'm not going to go into that again. Okay? So, we are currently covering the 12 testaments of the patriarchs. And we just got done finishing, it's still posting, still loading actually, the testament of Simeon concerning envy. Okay? And so we just finished up that. Again, that video is currently loading. So I decided to do some due diligence and look into that name, look into his lineage and all that sort of thing. So biblically, there is a Simeon, okay, that is referenced in Acts 13 and 1. Okay, that's a 13 and a 1. Okay? That individual is Simeon, S-I-M-E-O-N, called Niger, N-I-G-E-R. That name in Latin in its original text means black. Okay? It is noted that he was most likely called this. They believe that he was actually just called black at times, referenced as black, you know, amongst the people at that time, because of his darker skin tone. Okay? This is where the term nigger comes from. Okay? So, this is the same person as Simeon of Cyrene, S-C-Y-R-E-N-E, mentioned in the synoptic Gospels as the man who helped Yeshua carry the cross. Simeon, who was referred to as Niger, later being turned into by the slaves as nigger. Okay, adding a G. They wouldn't want you to be able to reference this. Okay, thanks Vatican. Dumbass, we found it. Okay, thanks Illuminati, Secret Skull and Bone Societies, Masons, Eastern Stars. Thanks, we found it. We know who we are. Okay, and that's not a brown thing. That's a humane thing. There's only one race. It's the human race. That's the only one. The only one. Okay? If you did your research and you found out about yourself, you'd find out that you are the same skin tone as many of the people that you discriminate against today. You would find that out. That's how ludicrous racism is. Okay? Let me see here if it's mentioned something else. Okay. In Mark 15:21, again, you know I very rarely make biblical references pertaining to anything between Genesis and Revelation, because I believe half that book is full of shit. Because again, it's been translated and changed in order to fit the programs of society. Okay? The story of Jesus is the story of Horus. They took that story from the story of Horus. Horus is the highest deity, the creator in Egyptian spirituality is Horus. They took that story and translated it into something that they could use to program you. So now we celebrate Easter and a bunny spitting out a fucking egg and we calling it the day he arose. Come on, come on, come on. Somebody make it make sense. Okay? So Mark 15:21, and this is from the New King James Version. Then they compelled a certain man, Simon or Simeon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, as he was coming out of the country and passing by, to bear his cross. Okay? This location, Cyrene, is north coast of Africa. Okay? And again, his sons are named Alexander and Rufus. What we know about Simeon, called Niger, is his name. Simeon is a Jewish name, and Niger comes from the Latin for black. It's safe to say that he was Jewish and may have been called black simply because of his looks. There are and long have been dark-skinned Jews. They are a minority, to be sure, but they mainly come from Africa, black Jews. For example, with a picture, they're talking about a reference, and Simon or Simeon might have been one of them. Okay, from the east coast of Africa. Okay, and then, so when I got done with that reading, when I got done with the testimony of Simeon concerning envy a moment ago, I sat down for a moment and I just meditated. I just closed my eyes for a moment and I was just asking for a reference, or asking for, I was just inquiring. And the word Antioch came in, and that's how I got onto this. Okay. So I wasn't looking for Simeon, I was actually looking up Antioch. And so this is what I found, or this confirms what I was being guided to look at. If we check out Acts 11:19 through 21, we find that the church in Antioch, where we first met Niger, was founded by men from Cyprus and Cyrene. So here is another connection. Niger is not said to be from Cyrene in Acts 13, but is not said to be, that's correct, from Cyrene in Acts 13, but he's not said to be from anywhere. So Cyrene is a good possibility, considering he was a leader in a church founded by Cyrenians. Okay, John Mark is the evangelist who mentions Simeon's sons, Alexander and Rufus. We know from tradition and several Latin words in the Greek text that Mark was writing his gospel to a largely Roman audience. So that can be helped. So that can help connect Rufus with Paul mentioned the Rufus mentioned by Paul, in Romans 16:13. So Paul apparently knew Rufus's mother. Romans 16:13, again, New King James Version. Greet Rufus, chosen in the Lord, and his mother and mine. And that's Paul speaking. I mean, that's very clear to say that why would he say and mine? So Simeon of Cyrene became a believer in Yeshua, and his sons were well known in the early church. He later traveled to Antioch and helped get the church there started. His wife and sons were with him. In Antioch, he received the nickname Niger, the black guy. The black guy. For being a dark-skinned Jew. People in Antioch like to give nicknames, but that would have to be, oh, I'm sorry, that was just some footnote or something. He was later joined in Antioch by Paul, who was Saul of Tarsus, we know that, blinded on the road to Damascus, and later yet, John Mark, who both got to know and love him, his wife, and sons. Years later, after Simeon's or Niger's death, his wife and son Rufus were living in Rome. They were prominent in the church there in part because of the unique role Simeon played in the gospel story. Writing to a Roman audience, Mark mentions Rufus and Alexander, Simeon's sons, because he and the Roman church knew them personally. Paul, writing to the Romans, greets Rufus and his mom for the same reason. So that is the basis for the word nigger. Again, man just added another G. Just like man takes out the word Yeshua and puts in Jesus, which means Zeus. Okay? Jesus is not the Christos. Okay? That is within you. Why stand ye gazing into the heavens? Be about my Father's business. You're looking up here for me, I'm in you. Okay? So anyway, I thought I would come on and give us the reference points for the origination of that word. I think that's extremely significant. I know it is today in American culture, and it has been for years, decades, centuries. It has been for years. Okay? So again, thank you so much for tuning in. The purpose for which I am here is to help us all become our highest, truest, purest version of ourselves possible. This is done through revealing and sharing the truth. Not adulterated, not watered down, not slimmed down, not trimmed down. Give me the meat and the fat. Okay? All of it. All right? So again, thank you so much for tuning in. It just clicked 13 minutes. My name is Nehru. This is Esoteric Guidance. Thank you, and again, as always, be encouraged.